Joining us now from the Federalist, the editor-in-chief there is Mollie Hemingway, and Forbes media chair and editor-in-chief Steve Forbes. Wow, that's an exciting panel. Mollie and Steve, we're so excited to have you on. Mollie, first to you. Politico reporting that, quote, Democrats have launched an unprecedented effort spending tens of millions of dollars to meddle in GOP nominating contests across the nation. They're trying to boost what Democrats think are extreme right-wing candidates voters won't like, and they're attacking Republican candidates who are the threats. I mean, we know that this goes on, but the Politico reporting that seems ramped up. What do you think, Mollie?
It's such an interesting strategy to use in a year where Democrats are really facing strong headwinds. So they are meddling mostly in this way of trying to advantage the more conservative candidate, but that might just mean in this year where Republicans are expected to make so many gains that they will just have more conservative opponents. This is something you saw in 2016 when the Hillary campaign famously put out that memo saying that they wanted Donald Trump to win the nomination. And of course, he ended up being the candidate who was able to beat her. But we also saw in Georgia that this same effort was used to back a non-MAGA candidate, or a couple of non-MAGA candidates in the Georgia primary. So they're just meddling in general, but I don't know how strategic or wise they're being about it.
Interesting what Mollie just said, Steve. You know, Steve, polls show voters are saying loudly and clearly they want the chaos to stop. They want peace. They want moderation. They want normalcy, common sense stuff. You've been talking about this, prosperity and safety for their families. Biden campaign promising all that. They're saying we didn't get any of it. We got crime, inflation, and a collapsed border.
Yes, unfortunately, the president's done the exact opposite of what he promised. Instead of unifying the nation, he's divided it with policies that he didn't even get approval from Congress, not meant to mention the voters for. Open borders is one, rampant crime is another, going against commerce, so you get more rising prices because of artificially high costs, and the Federal Reserve going off and raising interest rates, which is going to kill the housing market. People want a little bit of breathing room, and if the administration would back off and the Federal Reserve would back off, this country would heal itself pretty quickly.
That's it.
But they're not allowing it.
Right. Yes, the country, Mollie, to Steve's point, can heal itself, right? Now we're going to get to this later in the show, 51 illegal immigrants dead at the border. They died from heat and more. And then today, the focus is on the January 6th hearings today, right? The Mark Meadows top aide testifying Trump demanded to join the marchers on the Capitol. So, and that he went after a Secret Service agent for not taking him there. There's that. But, Mollie, there's also this. Democrats getting criticized for not condemning riots like this one in Arizona on Friday. Police had to use tear gas and pro-abortion protesters breaking into the state capitol. No arrests made, no FBI investigation. Americans have been watching riots going on for 6 years now. They started the day Trump was inaugurated. They burned cars and smashed buildings the day it was inaugurated. They attacked the nation and cities across the country in 2020. 30 people dead in the 2020 riots.
Yeah, these two major campaign strategies of the Democrat Party are completely at odds with each other right now. On the one hand, they're doing this show trial with no fair presentation of evidence to say that this one riot on the day of January 6th is the worst thing that ever happened in the history of the country. And at the very same time, they're engaged in a continuation of what has been decades of left-wing violent protests throughout the country. We saw it throughout the summer of 2020, where, as you noted, there was all of this financial damage and loss of human life, attacks on our institutions, such as the White House, federal courthouses, police precincts, businesses, churches. And then now, once again, they're returning to this violent street protest model of failed assassination attempts on Supreme Court justices, attacks on pro-life maternity care centers, churches. And they don't see that these two things are completely at odds. Trying to run the January 6th show trial and this street-level protest and rioting over abortion. They just are at odds with each other.
And, Steve, here's the thing. Here's what's to Mollie's point. Steve, Americans want normalcy. What is dishonest about the Capitol riots is this. The rioters and marchers, everybody who was upset with what went on in the 2020 riots, right? What they're also frustrated with is you don't shut down America and defund police and let criminals out of prison who go on to attack minority communities. You don't allow the tearing down of monuments because those rioters are on your side. And also, people want moderation. They want middle-of-the-road stuff. You also don't have extreme positions like abortion at 8 months, but you do have birth control. So, Steve, take that on. Is this missing in what's going on today in D.C.?
Yes, and because the Democrats are unpopular, they know they've got to really try to gin up fear and misconstrue things. And so I don't think it ultimately is going to work because people see what's happening, whether it's crime, the border, prices at the pump, prices at the marketplace. Even if inflation goes down a little bit, people feel things are out of control and the people in authority really don't know what to do. The Federal Reserve wants to create hard times. They think that's the way to conquer inflation. Joe Biden's still pushing for tax increases, really what you want for a wavering economy. So I think the American people want just an opportunity. Take a deep breath, go about a normal life, and leave them alone. And one of the things that's already happening, see it in Arizona, parents are going to take control of the schools and get a real curriculum back again.
Okay, got that. Mollie, I want your final word on this. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she promoted the Supreme Court's civility as a model. She praised her Trump-nominated colleagues. So can Democrats in the White House please stop with the attacks on the Supreme Court? Watch Hillary Clinton on this. Watch.
I went to law school with him. He's been a person of grievance for as long as I've known him. Resentment, grievance, anger. And the thing that is, well, there's so many things about it that are deeply distressing, but women are going to die, Gail. Women will die.
Justice Thomas is the one justice in the building that literally knows every employee's name, every one of them. Not only does he know their names, he remembers their families' names and histories.
So that, Mollie, that was Justice Sotomayor saying Justice Thomas is a nice guy and he knows everybody's name that works in the Supreme Court building, Mollie.
Well, yes, you know, it's Justice Alito who wrote the Dobbs decision, but the left has been engaging in these racist stereotype attacks on Justice Thomas, claiming that he's this angry and violent black man. They've actually done it for decades, and it's disgusting. But it's also just completely at odds with who he is. He is brilliant, he's tenacious, but he's also just incredibly loving and friendly, as Justice Sotomayor just noted.
It's a reasoned argument that we need. Reasoned argument, Steve. Final word.
Absolutely, and that's what the American people want, not shouts, but reasoned arguments.
Got it. Mollie, Hemingway, Steve Forbes, come back soon.
Thank you.